So the moment of reckoning of practice, the final practice, 24 of 24, rate 7 to the right, 3.28 miles in. The team's just 1 or 2 headaches will talk weekend. The tyres exactly the same. Started off with a front tyre pressure of 23 to bolster those front tyres and burn that tonight. I mean, we didn't talk tyres at all yesterday. So
there's a reaction to that 1 PSI change.
What happens from here on in?
Yeah, it is. You know, the team will be so important to this championship, as we know. It doesn't matter, but actually it makes quite a lot have to react and adapt to that overnight. See the effect that has on the tyre, although we are...
And Pirelli saying yesterday graining could be a factor. Good pushes from what should be a one-stop race. We're struggling with graining in exactly the same circuit.
The track, and the reason that happens when we get a race graining on a Friday, and as we go through the weekend, and that's what we should hopefully see. The track will become lap on lap on lap.
It's got hotter from FP2, so in the race we're 39 degrees at the moment, warmer in the air today.
Yeah, it does feel warm. Like if Belfast was yesterday, that's for sure. It is something that happens between the P1 and P2 longer, if you think of it like that. But it is...
Rosberg is literally sprinting from the opposites, the podium, which now stretches out. For what is the 13th race here in Abbott's, 3 drivers in contention for the championship. Is on Sky Sports F1, just to see Bernie. The cars are stampeding. Title to be decided. Get out there, do some driving.
To wait at the beginning of the session, they probably cooler track condition. Maybe the best track.
Except when I start shouting about Formula One. Hello, Crofty. Speed to get going. There's Yuki's last FP3, his last qualifying Formula One race for the time being. He and Aston Martin take to the track. So, boys, Lance Stroll and Fernando Alonso. That was what Max Verstappen was after. Difficult thing to put your finger on, isn't it? Went to it. But apart from that, just even at the end of the day, after such as his mind management, doesn't want to get timed.
And talking of speed, Nico not even breaking sweat. I mean, that's what?
Well, it's pretty awesome to be here, because this is going to be, well, yeah, let's do this.
Not as you have been this morning. That was a tense week.
Take it a little bit. But no, I mean, it's exactly the same, 12 points ahead. And plus he has his teammate as well, who's ready to pounce. Because you're like so scared to mess it up. There's 20 years in my case. 20 years. One small mistake and the dream is gone.
As we focus on FP3, was on piece. How did you go about FP3?
not being able to eat properly. Everything else wouldn't go down. So pasta, that was the only thing that my brain said, I think I could, that's the only thing that went down. And so of course, you don't, it's so bad. And then get in the car, FP3. So your head is just keeps on, you're not going to be able to do this. And the thing is that Lando is, he's not the Max Verstappen type, which is actors, and I think Lando is definitely a little bit more like...
Most of us, the vast majority of us, working for 20 years towards or projects we're working on or whatever, but you can't be a pit stop. It might be all of these things, because I can't imagine that.
Like this weekend, right?
I am so comfortable.
Yeah, you see, whatever happens on Sunday will come handily, backs you completely into the pack, as vulnerable could be.
It was the perfect. The others could stay in the race, and perhaps, and then by slowing me down halfway through the race, near Tony comes onto the radio and says, "Nico, championship. Like, you're gonna have to pass in your life."
Oh man!
He was a much more high-risk driver. Yeah. It was he left the space, and my foot after that controlled the throttle anymore. I'd never experienced that in my life.
Just a bit.
So I'm like, okay, I'm done. Can't control the line after that.
Yeah.
And I could just plow my whole leg down. So I could plow my whole leg down. And that gave going.
Just looking at what we're talking about, we've talked a lot about the specs going into the race, that would be Lewis.
At all, you know, I was expecting everything and more. So
of course.
See, but that's Bernie's job, to try and plan for everything. Get that sort of a race, and if you're Max in front, which makes qualifying so...
knows how important this qualifying is. Able to drive properly a racing car from the get-go. Very, very impressive so far, because that's what we have just at the highest ever.
Well, let's talk to his side. Give us an inside view as to...
I'm impressed as well. The World Championship battle here, and I think everyone's very excited for qualifying.
This is super massively. They'll leave it at those 2 different points of view. There in that word. Okay, so a lot of us as media, you really want to help them have their 100 internally.
Yeah, we got to keep them away from you. Trying to pretend like there's not a lot at stake, right? But they're not trying to overwork them with sponsored approach to the weekend. I'm kind of the fun guy.
So speaking of the fun guy, obviously for a lot of the engineers, which we've both worked at a Drivers' Championship on the line, how do you make decisions through the weekend?
Yeah, emotional and excitable, but trying to keep that calmness. But the team's remarkably ship. You know, everyone was remarkably calm. So what we recognize is bringing in
The teams at just finally from me, or visually, is it from the constructors?
Yeah, it's on. But for us, we want both. We want championship, which is what we have. So a good position.
Best of luck this weekend on the Red Bull pit wall. Best of luck. Just a little bit busy at the moment. So completed lap. Charles Leclerc has just come out onto the track. Fastest FP3 time. Last better final practice to give him a bit of a mess for the evening session.
Yeah, they in hindsight,
I guess when he's 104 points ahead after Zam.
still right in there. I mean, if Oscar was attentive enough to those details, which is pro and it helps sometimes. It's going to be easy for him to come back from yesterday, even though I still think rises. You just cannot.
I get the point, but I know we're making pre-season, and I think the P1. And if you look at it from, so he's given up a race at the end to lose Abu Dhabi as a P1 session, and there's 23 other races that the point should have been.
It's very strong.
Lando crosses the line. 120 in the win in both of those weekends when they finish the season on a high. They'll be fourth in the Constructors' East for a team that will come. Charles Leclerc is on course for a fourth winless season. Lando Norris currently. Esteban Ocon and Lewis lap down into the hair lock-up in the process.